Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 keys to master SMA sales. Now, it is truly no secret, if you want to have a successful social media marketing agency, you're going to have to master sales. And quite frankly, if you don't, you're going to have a very hard time signing SMA clients. Now, this was one of the things that I struggled with the most when I was starting my social media marketing agency. And I know for a fact from speaking to hundreds of agency owners, it's the one thing that most people struggle with, which is signing a client, right? Getting someone to actually pay you money to deliver a specific service. And so what I did at the start of my journey is I decided to put my head down and truly master this thing, right? I wanted to truly master sales, and it wasn't until I did that my agency really took off. And so in this video, I want to share with you the 3 keys that I learned in that whole tedious and just painstaking process. And honestly, by watching this video and applying these 3 keys that I'm going to be sharing with you, you are going to be able to cut so much wasted time, pain, hours that it took me to actually learn this stuff. So I'm really excited for this video and for you to apply these and get incredible results with your sales. And without further ado, let's get right into it. The first thing is you want to follow a straight line to the sale. I see so many agency owners beating around the bush. They jump on the call with the client and there's no predictability, there's no straight line to the sale, right? And this does not mean that you're salesy, right? This just means that when you jump on that call, you have a very clear agenda. And you're not there to talk about life or to talk about, their pets or their dogs or whatever it is, right? You are there to make a sale. You are there to convert a prospect to a client. And so you want to make sure that you have a very clear process to the sale. The process that I recommend is actually pretty simple. And most people make it out to be this hugely complex thing, right? And sales is actually pretty simple. The first thing that you want to do is you want to bring awareness to where they're currently at. You want to diagnose their current position, not only so that they realize that they don't have their marketing in place or that they're not implementing the service that you're offering, right? And that quite clearly there's some leaky holes in their marketing, but also for you to understand what problems are they actually facing, what have they tried up to now, what has worked and what hasn't, okay? So once you've done that's really the first part of the call, diagnosing where they're currently at. The second thing you want to do is you want to get a very good idea of where they're trying to get to. Why is it that they decided to jump on a call with you? Because trust me, if they jumped on a call with you, they've shown intent, right? They are quite a warm lead, right? And so why is it that they're actually looking into Facebook ads? Where is it that they're trying to get to? And if you're speaking to the founder of that brand and they're emotionally invested into the business, yes, you want to tap into their emotional side, which is what people usually refer to as being a bit salesy, but you want to get an idea of the motivation behind wanting to get to whatever they're trying to get to in 6 months or 12 months or a year or whatever it is, right? And usually it has an emotion behind it because people buy with emotion and they justify it with logic. And that is a very well known as sales principles. So now you know where they're currently at, you've diagnosed where they're currently at, what things they've tried, and you really have a very clear picture of their business. The second thing you've done is you've understood where they're trying to get to, right? And now what you want to do quite simply is just make it very clear for them how your service is going to get them from point A, where they're currently at, to where they're trying to get to, and how you can help them bridge that gap. And that is all sales is. Getting crystal clear on what point A is, getting crystal clear on what point B is, and you drawing that gap and conveying how you're going to help them get from point A to point B. And as long as you're doing that and it's very clear for them that you're going to help them bridge that gap, then they're going to sign with you. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of things that obviously come into place. It's not just the logical, but it's also how you carry yourself, your tonality, your tone of voice, your confidence, your abundance mindset, your lighting, even the quality of the audio, the professionalism that you bring into the call. And I'll talk about that very briefly at the end of the video. But on an essential level, that is really what you're doing on a sales call. The second thing is volume. You need to get a lot of calls in. And that is really how you get very good with sales. Sales is one of those things that, yes, you can learn about. And I'll talk about that on the third key of mastering sales. But sales is really one of those things that you truly have to practice to get very good with it. For example, in the month of April, so this past month, I actually locked in 111 calls. You can actually see that here. Most of these were sales calls for my agency as well as my consulting business. And quite a few of them were also interview questions. We're bringing on a copywriter for our team. But those are a lot of calls, right? And so sales calls for me is just part of my day at this point, right? It comes to me very naturally. However, when I was just starting my agency and I didn't have the outreach system and the automated outreach processes that I have now for my agency, I'd really struggled to land meetings, right? And the problem with that is you're not really getting a lot of field experience. You don't really have much training. Okay? So when you jump on those calls, if you're not landing many calls, you don't have that confidence. It doesn't come as naturally to you. right? So one of the keys to master SMA sales is to just land a lot of client meetings, a lot of sales calls, so that you can actually get feedback, right? You can actually see, okay, this worked, this doesn't. You can see what tone works for you, and you can really find yourself. You can have self-awareness as to what your sales style is. Apart from booking meetings as well, you need to make sure that you are recording your calls. Very, very important. You're recording your calls and you're watching back to see shifts in tonality, just, you know, things that you could have done better, where your confidence wasn't quite there. Maybe when you quoted your service fee, there wasn't much conviction, etc., etc. And literally, while you're watching back over your calls, you take notes, right? You analyze what things you could have done better so that you can implement them on your next call. What I do is I just record them on Zoom, then I upload them to a Drive folder called Discovery Calls or Breakthrough Sessions or whatever you want to call them. And then I will slot a time of a specific day to watch back over my sales calls, maybe for that past week. So that's really the second thing that I recommend. You need to get a lot of volume. And not only that, but once you have a lot of meetings, watch back over them and analyze what things you could have done better. And the third thing is sales training. As I said, guys, sales is not one of the things you can read about and then get very good with it. It's kind of like, you know, football, you can't really watch a course on how to play football and then get really good with it, right? You actually have to practice. You actually have to go out there and get boosted up and actually get better with it. But having said that, there have been a few resources and books that I found extremely valuable to really get good with sales and to really improve my sales techniques. And so I'm going to share those with you right now. And so the first book is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Really, really good book. This guy will teach you all about negotiations and how to master them. The second book is a classic, but it's A Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. This is all about the straight line of selling, and you know, one of the concepts that I spoke about in early in this video, which is it basically boils down to, if you're going on a sales call, the outcome that you want to get is a sale, right? You're not there to talk about, you know, family or life or whatever it is, right? The next book is The Greatest Salesman in the World. Now, the title is a bit misleading, to be honest. I didn't do much research on this book. It turned out to be just a motivational, kind of like a rah-rah book. I don't really subscribe to much rah-rah stuff, but I actually really enjoyed this book. It basically gives you a bunch of sales techniques and just advice on how to master sales and change your life with sales. And yeah, definitely motivational book for sales. This next book is not so much motivational, but it's very practical. It's probably one of the best books that I found on sales, and it's called How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. This is a really, really old book, as you guys can see, but it's honestly a great book, and I've learned a ton from this book. And then the final book is a classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The reason why I like this book, and you know, leading to my next point, if you want to master sales, you also need to understand human psychology as well as social dynamics, how to actually carry yourself, right? Yes, for example, you know, a book like this one, How to Master, you know, a book like this one, How to Master the Art of Selling, is going to teach you a lot about, you know, practical advice and strategies you can use. But you will realize that, you know, you have to match the strategies with the personality, right? And you know, having the two together makes you a very powerful salesperson, because if you have the techniques but you also have the social dynamics, that's when you really become a very powerful and a master salesperson. So that is it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like. It really helps out with the algorithm, and I really appreciate it. Also, leave down below any comments, any questions you may have on this video, and I'll be sure to check those out. Lastly, if you haven't checked out my free masterclass on how to sign and keep 4-figure SMA clients, there's nothing for sale, and the same feedback that I've been getting on it, honestly, out of this world. People literally implementing the stuff that I cover and getting results. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and check out the link in the description. And as always, guys, hope everything's going well in your agency journey, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Peace.